Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Get it going. Just all the ancestors are here tonight.
That's right.
Five on the left, two on the right.
Hmm.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is our protector,
Allah is our protector,
our guide,
our guide,
and our salvation.
and our salvation.
By night
By night
and by day,
and by day,
through her holy prophet,
through her holy prophet,
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Islam.
Islam.
Once again, how you doing, brother Don Pedro?
I'm good.
So we're starting off today again with the Psych War. You didn't get it yesterday. Psych War, and this is by LaRue Ned. LaRuenedd. Reverse psychology. Reverse psychology. The definition of a slave is a person who has lost all freedom and personal rights, who has lost the power of resistance. But when you read about the history of black people in America, you will find that none of these definitions really apply. We have always exercised our personal and individual rights, and we have always resisted white people's attempt to enslave us. The reason why our ancestors were called slaves in the first place is because it was the white people's intention to make them slaves, not that they were slaves. In getting us to believe that our foreparents were slaves, we now see ourselves as being free when it is actually the reverse. We believe that our foreparents were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation and that freedom was passed on to us. Yet all religious and cultural changes that were forced on us during the so-called slave days, we struggle to cling today. What was the process that made us Christians? How did English become the only language we know? If slavery meant taking out the African mind and putting in the European mind, then the reverse slavery would have to mean taking out the European and putting in the African. If we understood that our ancestors were not slaves in the beginning, we would see ourselves differently today. Believing that we were slaves, we acted upon that belief. In the beginning, we risked our lives to get away from white people. In the end, we risked our lives to be included in their institutions. Even though we were not allowed into their churches, we modeled our churches after their churches. We modeled our schools after their schools. At one point in time, we stopped referring to ourselves as Africans. We had been manipulated into denying our relationship with our own heritage. The fact is that the dictionary definition of the word slave does not match the actions of our ancestors before the Emancipation Proclamation. Defending against psychological attack. The first step in defending oneself is in realizing that one is under attack. The facts that the words slave and slavery are attached to our history and that we are still looking for freedom and civil rights are clear evidence that black people in America are and have been under psychological attack. Slavery is about mind control. As Woodson points out, when you control the mind, you control the body. Slavery is about mind control. As Woodson points out, when you control the mind, you control the body. Right? So we're going to go to King Alfred Plan again.
Chief, did we read out the warning? Did I miss the warning?
Oh no, we didn't do the warning. All right.
See?
That's what we're talking about
That's what
right
I'm talking
there.
about right
That's what we're
there.
talking about right there. You can't be diverted off the path.
That's right.
You know, you can't be
And
diverted
it's
off
the
the
new
path.
Moors who are ready to
Yeah.
not forget.
Right. So January 15th, 1929, a warning from the prophet to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while on their jobs, homes, or on the public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure to obey my orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by Prophet Noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Ali. That was the first one. And the second letter was March 18th, 1929. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement by now, by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is still the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head, and it has been proven by my works in which I have performed in the last few days. Islam. Right? So give thanks for bringing that one back to the forefront.
So now we're at the King Alfred plan, right?
Right, so we're at King Alfred plan, and we just read the Black book.
And what's that?
Sorry,
Sorry,
the Black guy.
Sorry, late too.
Oh, Psych Ward.
Psych ward?
Not ward, but war.
Psych ward, psychological ward.
Exactly.
Yeah, Psych War, the Psych War, the interracial battle for mind control. Where we finished reading was, as Woodson points out, when you control the mind, you control the body. So this is still King Alfred plan, right? Mind control in America. If a group of men gain control of the major news media, the educational systems, the educational systems, they would have great control of words we use, would they not? When you control people's words, you control their thoughts. When you control their thoughts, you control their minds. When you control their minds, you control their bodies. In such a group gaining, is such a group gain control of our minds, would we expect them to take full-page ads across the country and inform 200 million heavily armed citizens of their accomplishment? Would they more likely keep us singing "Land of the Free and Home of the Brave" while they simply purchase the legislation they need to gain absolute total control over us? Whoever controls the volume of money in any country is absolute master of all commerce and industry. President Garfield. The only way productive people can control the volume of money and be self-governing is when something workers produce is used as a medium of exchange. So the only way productive people can control the volume of money and be self-governing is when something workers produce is used as a medium of exchange.
So, in essence, what they're saying is that if we agree to the fact that we're going to use this fiat
Right.
as our barter system,
Yep.
then once we agree to that, that becomes the power.
That becomes the power. So whatever it is that you agree on.
So it could be rocks. Could be.
Right.
Could be anything.
Once you believe it has value, then it
takes
has
on
value. But that's only to you. Because if you go to rocks to Costco, there's like a
Okay, yeah. But I mean,
no
in
agreement.
essence, it's the same thing with the money, the fiat that we have in our pocket, right? We go to the people who are producing it, it means absolutely nothing.
But it has longevity. It has a history, though. Why people put so much behind it? Like, why do they put so much trust in Jesus Christ? Because it's 2,000 years old. You know, he has a track record. Whereas you don't have a track record. You're saying rocks today, and they're like, whatever, buddy. Why are we gonna go with rocks when we got paper right here?
What you're saying in essence is because the paper is backed by the government.
The government what?
Well, I agree. So how does the paper have any real heritage either, or any what were you saying? Any longevity?
Yeah, no, because they've been doing that for a long time. Right? They've had paper floating around for a long time. Yeah. Right? Paper's been floating around. The actual process of money creation takes place in commercial banks. Page 3, Modern Money Mechanics. So I think that's online still, right? It's still accessible, PDF format. Modern Money Mechanics. Download that.
But in summary,
You use like download it to like a junk drive or something. Don't download it to your computer.
Okay, why?
In case it's a virus. Because they'll just put it as a virus and put it out there.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
So modern money mechanics. Published by the Federal Reserve Bank. And that's basically talking about the mechanics of modern money. Just fiat. And how they created it and the whole story.
Wait, you're saying that's been created by the Federal Reserve? So that could be a lie too, though. Or not could be a lie, but it's their spin on it.
Well, they created the reserve.
Right. No, what I'm saying, the story they're going to give us is the story they want us to hear.
No, this is like the actual, just like King Alfred plan.
Right. Oh, I see.
The money plan. The money plan.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to get the real
they're
deal.
Telling you everything.
Yeah.
Right. Because they have to, even if they, it's like when you go to school, you have to do your paper.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then your paper could have some power behind it.
Right.
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 Like I think it was one of those wars with George Bush that.
Oh, you're talking about the one where the Colin Powell, where the guy wrote that.
When the guy they went to war because of the book report.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's why they went to war, because of a guy's book report.
Right.
Right. So the paper the when they make these manuals,
Right.
you know, executive orders and all this type of stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's a paper that somebody's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Islam,
mean?
Islam.
Islam, fam. Right? It's a paper that somebody's doing,
Right.
or a think tank is doing,
Yeah.
right? Think tank comes together, bam, they put it in a little booklet form, and then
Yeah.
this is what it is.
Yeah.
And then they go over it and they say, okay, yeah, okay, everything gets check marks, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna go with this, right? So that's like that's what the modern money mechanics book is,
Okay.
right? Because that's a Federal Reserve book, like that's their book that they
Yeah.
put up, right?
Which technically they probably wouldn't have wanted us having access to. Maybe.
Right, exactly.
Like this
just
thing.
just like this, right? But now that we have access to it,
They can't
you
really
know,
do much about it.
what are they really gonna do, right? Try to get this going at a more rapid speed,
Or make some alterations
right?
to it.
Or
wherever they
alterations to it, you know, call it Homeland Security, you know what I mean, and say that it's related to the border and stuff like that. When everything goes back to Treaty of Verona and then coming up.
Well, it's almost as though when they write these things, especially, reading the King Alfred plan, the way they describe us, it's almost as though they're doing it with this arrogance that we're so stupid that even if they put it out there, we don't know how to read it and we won't understand it anyway. So,
Right.
joke on us type of thing.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've taken reading away from us. I think one of those videos said the best way to hide one of these things is to put it in a book.
Right.
There you go.
Right. Put it in a book and right. It's lost forever because the person who's supposed to read it won't be reading it.
The reality behind it is most of the books that we had written a while back, they took those books and burnt them.
Yeah.
To make sure that we couldn't get them.
Well, we couldn't get. But this is where you say divine intervention,
Of course.
right? Because we still got the information even though they burnt everything.
To me, the information is ethereal. It's out there.
Right. Exactly. Because you can't
like
you can't go to King Tut's tomb and steal stuff.
Right.
That's just gold and trinkets.
That's right.
Like that's not,
That's
just a shell,
That's right.
right?
His essence.
So why is it? Yeah. So why is it that the pharaohs used to say, oh well, we're gonna bury them with everything that they own, right? So that they can take it with them. If those things didn't have an essence too. That when that person died, things that were attached to him or her died with him. His energy was in the stuff because he's using it regular. If I'm gonna say, water, this water is so beautiful, I love you, water, and you have superpowers after I drink it, because I put my energy in the water, so it's only conducive to me. But if I say superpower water and if you drink it, that you might have a stroke or something, because it's not your ritual. It's my witchcraft. You can't use my witchcraft. And then that's our problem. We're trying to counteract their sorcery on us with their sorcery.
That's right.
Not our own sorcery.
That's right. We're trying to use their stuff.
Right.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. We should have learned that from Christianity. And that's why Drew Ali came and said, we're taking that away. You don't need that. That's not for you. He didn't say anything's wrong with it. He didn't curse it. He didn't spit on the Bible or nothing like that. He just said, that's not for you. That's somebody else's stuff. So let them hold their stuff. Right? Comes back to why even having to do class on King Alfred plan. Right? People could see you're claiming something that is not yours. You're stealing. You're stealing somebody's name. No, like the people that King Alfred plan is about.
Oh, yeah.
They're stealing somebody else's name,
right,
and want to be recognized in that person's name as them. That's stealing.
You're talking about the controlling entities that are running these.
Right. Which are most of the time European.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what you're talking about. You're
Right.
talking about
Because
stealing that. Our natural.
No, like I'm talking about our people.
Their names.
Stealing the Europeans' names.
Their names.
Okay.
Stealing it. And want to get recognized by that name. Scott and Martin.
But are we stealing it, or is that not put on us?
But we're stealing it because we know that that's not us.
Okay.
We say we ourselves.
We ourselves know that.
We ourselves say that the name that I have came from the slave master.
Right. And then we're still.
But I'm gonna go buy a house in that name.
Yeah.
That's stealing. Because that's not yours. You know that it's not yours. Because we know that the names that we have belong to slave master. We know that. You could ask a little child that, how do you get that name? Johnson. Oh yeah, when we were a slave master in St. Vincent or whatever.
Yeah, because even with a lot of our people, most of our people, I should say, are basically not aware of what we're talking about, but they're aware if they really take check of themselves and say, okay, we're Africans, right? Right. And so they're going to know, obviously, that the names are different.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? The names belonging to us ain't no European name.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Even if you go to that level.
Right. So it's not like we don't know. We know. We choose not to do anything about it. And then why is it that we don't do anything about it? Because of mind control.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. That I wonder whether it's really it's an active choice that we're really making, right?
Right. And if we're making an active choice to do something contrary to what should be done, that's mind control. Right. Today, over 100 million Americans believe that there is a law requiring them to waive their rights and file a 1040 confession, and that they will surely go to jail if they do not comply. Perhaps twice that number believe that government spends money, but none of them can describe it. There are less than 500 citizens per year jailed as a result of income tax disputes, and 55,000 people killed on highways, yet the people fear the former far more than the latter. Strange priorities. People believe that water is fluoridated to prevent cavities by the same government that provides free abortion, free sterilization, subsidized tobacco, subsidized sugar, lethal flu shots, Agent Orange, syphilis experiments, radiation experiments, and no-win wars, while they restrict our use of cancer-controlling latril. Would these people buy the Brooklyn Bridge for $500? For the secret owners of the Federal Reserve to control the volume of money and become our absolute masters, and we their absolute slaves, they had to first get the gold away from our parents and grandparents in 1933, which was accomplished with threats of fines and imprisonment from the man who said, "The thing we have to fear most is fear itself," Franklin D. Roosevelt. Next, they had to get our silver away from us, which was accomplished under a great smokescreen called Vietnam.
Say that one more time, that last bit.
Next, they had to get our silver away from us, which was accomplished under a great smokescreen called Vietnam. It is just coincidental as to how the chronology of Vietnam War seems to dovetail with the chronology of our silver being confiscated. There is no way that they could control the volume of money if the money was silver coins in the hands of 200 million Americans. They had to get us dependent on a medium of exchange that they would create as infinite volume with infinitesimal effort. Credit The newspapers tell us that Russia borrows from Western banks, and the Bible says the borrower is servant to he lender. The public thinks that taxes are used to provide a defense against Russia, and it's the other way around. Our masters dangle the Russian boogeyman in front of us to justify the tax illusion. Truth is always stranger than fiction. The Russian people are taught to fear us. History shows that the money changers have used every form of abuse, intrigue, deceit, and violent means possible to maintain control over governments by controlling the money and its issuance. President James Madison. The high office of president has been used to foment a plot against the American people. Before I leave office, I must inform the citizen of his plight. President John F. Kennedy, in a speech at Columbia University 10 days before his death. The world is governed by far different personages than what is imagined by those not behind the scenes. So what are you going to do about it?
I don't know much about the Bible, but didn't Jesus get mad at the people doing the money lending and money changing in the temple or something like that?
Most definitely.
So this thing has been going on for a mighty long time.
Right. Exactly. Mighty long time. So we'll go back to the psych ward.
Can I ask you something quick before you go there?
Sure.
When you were reading from, I don't know if it was the King Alfred plan you were reading from just now.
Yeah.
But they were talking about they had to get the gold and silver from our grandparents. But it was someone talking in the first person. Who was saying that?
Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, it is. It is. Like, I don't know if this is something that was put in there because like how it breaks down, like, you know, there's military type looking things, and then there's just writings in here. You know, we'll make some copies of this so everybody can get it. But it's like it even has like mathematical equations for, you know, how the tendency of a docile subnation, and they have a mathematical equation for that, how they're going to create that scenario. It's interesting. It's an interesting read. You know,
Imagine,
already created that.
yeah, but imagine spending so much energy on destruction. You know what I mean? That's how these people have been for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
If you had put all of that energy towards something constructive, this would be a utopia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everything, every single thing that they put their hand on has been to destroy everything.
Right.
It's sad.
But at the same time, you know, they're only doing that because they're bored. You know, you just leave a child in the room with the china, see what happens. With the china,
Oh.
with the glassware.
Yeah.
Just put everything in reaching distance and see what happens. If you leave a child in the room by themselves.
You're talking about mentality.
Yeah. You know, what's the child gonna do? Be careful and not break anything. Right. So it's not that they're being destructive. They're just, that's their nature because they're children. They're the youngest race of the human family with the most talk. Like they have the biggest chest than everybody else's chest. They conquered nations and they did all this type of stuff. And they didn't do nothing. You talking about? You have 6,000 years on the planet, 10,000 tops that you're actually on the planet.
You just messed your drawers.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. You're not even walking yet. You know what I mean?
Basically, I guess I sense that there's also some, I guess the word would be animus, but anger or something, or resentment.
Well,
Underlying it, right?
Well, yeah, that comes
because of the others.
because of what we did. Because what we did to them,
That's true.
right? What we did to them is why they have that resentment.
And they're basically just trying to emulate the fall of us.
Right, exactly. Right. But
What
is it that they look back to all the time? All of our fallen nations. Right. They don't ever.
They're not trying to emulate the positive.
Right, exactly. Right.
Oh yeah, they do, but they try to take credit for all the positive stuff.
Well, but there's not really much positive stuff that I'm seeing from it, except for them trying to control our energy flow. Right? They're not trying to give us. They're not trying to make for a better society, which is what you were saying, right? They're trying to sort of have this hierarchy with them at the top and us running around at the bottom, trading nothing.
Speaking about energy flow, we'll go to energy. Right. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the sources and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge, the end is control. Beyond this realm, only one issue: who will be the beneficiary? In 1954, this was the issues of primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised in view of the law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such, such a people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. Consequently, in the interests of future world order, peace, and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with an ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy wealth of the undisciplined and irresponsible many into the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, and worthy few. In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and supply new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principles of operation and public appearance as to earn for themselves the name silent weapons. In conclusion, the objective of the economic research as conducted by the magnates of capital banking and the industries of commodities, goods, land services is the establishment of an economy which is totally predictable and manipulatable. In order to achieve a totally predictable economy, the low-class elements of the society must be brought under total control, i.e., must be housebroken, trained, and assigned a yoke and long-term social duties from a very early age before they have an opportunity to question the propriety of the matter. In order to achieve such conformity, the lower class family unit must be disintegrated by a process of increasing preoccupation of the parents and the establishment of government-operated daycare centers for the occupationally orphaned children. The quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the meat of ignorance, isolated and inferior class from superior class, is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class. Which, with such an initial handicap, even bright lower class individuals have little, if any, hope of extricating themselves from their assigned lot in life. This form of slavery is essential to maintaining some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class. Right? So so silent weapon. Mom, Somebody comes to the door. Knock the door. Yeah, you know, we heard that there's crying in here. So we have to check and see what's going on. Well, I see that you have sticks in here. Your children play. You let your children play with those sticks? Oh, I see there's a mark here on your child. You're going to need to take your child because you're not looking after your child properly. And we have a witness, the neighbor, said that she heard crying over here. And before the parent could go to the court to make a claim for the child, the police and the court conspire with companies like CAS, right? And so now, because now the child now becomes a ward.
The child was always a ward, wasn't it?
Exactly. That's why they could kick the door in anytime and take out anything and anyone that they want.
You also are a figment of that
right.
thing too.
Exactly.
So you have no rights.
Right. Silent weapon. Because people think that they're applying for something that certifies their birth. Or they're getting some social insurance from this card that they have. Right? When, you know, it's a silent weapon. It's a weapon that they're using in order to get people to give up their energy for nothing. And then have people think that paper is the real energy. And they're stacking that up, but they have grays at 20 years old. But they have paper stacked up. Right? And then they die, and what name is on them? Johnson, Franklin, Davis, whatever. Going right back to the European. That's how they're able to fund what they do to us. Right? And it comes back to the thing yesterday, right? Psych ward. The white man isn't coming into our homes and putting guns to our heads, forcing us to break up our families or kill each other. The aim in a psychological attack is to get the people under attack to work against themselves. It appears as though it is black people who are waging war on black people. So it's not the Illuminati that's doing it. It's not the New World Order people. It's not the Masons. It's not the white man. It's not the cracker.
It's us.
Those people aren't the problem. Right? And they're not the problem because they're citizens that belong to some nation. The French nation, Dutch nation, German nation, right? British nation. They belong to something. Right? French nation. They're citizens. They have a right to protest against things that are unconstitutional. That's why there's King Alfred plan. The executive order to counteract the minority, blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites in their rise from up under the depression and powers that be. To counteract their rise out of the depression.
So it's telling you right there. That's it.
Right? Why would they create this document and then hide it from the public? Because I mean,
because when you go to them on the street and you say, "Here, this is what's going on," they back away.
Yeah, public don't want it. Yeah,
they're afraid because they look at you and they figure something's wrong with you because you're wearing a fez.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they don't need to hide nothing from us.
Yeah. Right.
They already got us, got our number.
So this is why, like it's important that we understand that if you're claiming, not like, if you're claiming nationality, our nationality, name has a lot to do with it, right? The fact that you're saying, I am a national of dot dot dot, whatever you're sliding in there after of, has to have a name that's attached to that name, right? There has to be a connection. There has to be joiner between the name
What you're talking about,
and
if
the
it comes
geographical land
from the
mass.
last name or something,
Right.
getting back to wherever it is.
All right. Right. So we're gonna go to what is in a name, and this is Grand Governor Heru Ranisi L. We'll pass that around, and then you can email amirheru9@yahoo.com if you want to get any of his books, and usually they're about $15, 15 notes. AMIRHERU, the number 9@yahoo.com. And this is what is in a name, page 9. Name, as mentioned earlier, are also titles. According to Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1856, the word title is defined as the means whereby the owner of lands has just possession of his property. A good title is that which entitles a man by right to a property or estate and to the lawful possession of the same. Title to real estate is acquired by two methods, namely by descent and by purchase. Title is also acquired and lost by transfer by the act of a party, by gift, or by contract or sale. Relative to persons, the word title is defined in the previous mentioned reference as titles are distinctions by which a person is known. The sovereign grand imperial titles of nobility of El, Bey, and Ali are the pedigree titles of nobility linking Moorish Al-Moroccan nationals to the soil of the Americas, North, Central, South, and adjoining islands. These titles are passed from a generation to generation to remind the European occupational forces of the original inhabitants of the landowners of Amexem, whose trade name is styled as United States of America, held in perpetual union. Titles of nobility are outlawed or held in perpetual union. Articles of Confederation, Preamble, Article 1. Titles of nobility are outlawed by the U.S. Federal Constitution in Article 1, Section 9, which states no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. This is because titles of nobility may only be granted by the aboriginal indigenous inhabitants of a nation state. Europeans, masquerading as Americans, do not have lawful authority to issue a title of nobility. The Beys, Els, and Alis, Moorish American nationals, or Moorish Al-Moroccan nationals, or Moroccan American nationals, have a pedigree descent of nobility of over 50,000 years in this hemisphere. Europeans have no pedigree descent of nobility in this hemisphere, and in Europe anything preceding 1100 AD becomes scarce. The Moorish nobility were wealthy landowners backed by nature's law, Allah, the Moorish ground forces, and the Moorish navy. As the descendants of these nobles, we today are also nobles, royal imperial offspring, which is why we possess our titles of nobility of Bey, El, and Ali. That may make that and Ali that many mistake as names. William Shakespeare, Sir Francis Bacon, once made the statement, "What is in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." What does this statement allude to? It alludes to the spiritual fact that a thought of Allah manifest in flesh, man, angel, or prophet, is still the manifest form of the divine despite name. However, names are tones, tones are vibration, and vibrations arrange energy into shape and form. Once that form is achieved, then the form vibrates, attracting other forms of energy to it. This is why you must be careful what you call yourself from a divine point of view. Legally, name infers pedigree, pedigree infers heritage and legal status. Since the construct referred to as the United States of America is a commercial agreement between the Moors and the British subjects who defeated and naturalized into who defected, and naturalized into the Moorish imperial dominions, the North Gate and Northwest of Mexico, it is plain to see that all those who are not either Mexican or Moorish American, which in truth refer to the same people, are foreigners, and the United States of America or American refers to no one pedigree of people. Islam. Thus, it is the cognomen or surname that tells one's origin. If one's name does not end in Bey, El, or Ali, that individual is a naturalized citizen, otherwise known as a foreigner, alien, or artificial person. If one fits the facial description or phenotype of a Moor, heavy to light melanin, wavy to woolly hair, yet bears the name of a European, with respect to their prospective nations, then said individual is committing fraud. Fraud is deception made for personal gain. Fraud is a crime whereby the perpetrator deceives another in order to acquire property or services from them. Right? So, Timothy Drew was born, right? Then there's Noble Drew Ali, right? Well, after Timothy Drew, there was Professor Drew the Addict, right? Then there was Noble Drew Ali. Then there was Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And then there's Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, right? 5 names, 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. 5 points on the star. 5 civilized tribes. 5 on the left, right? So there's a pattern of 5 to validate 5 being respective to the Moors, right? Him nationalizing is having a name that vibrates on a frequency based on his nationality. So Noble Drew Ali doesn't vibrate on Moorish nationality because Drew is not like one of our names, right? Maybe the translation of what Drew came from, but not Drew, D-R-E-W, right? Like Nancy Drew's a European, so that's a conflict of interest right there, right? Diverse citizenship, right? Now, he said that he went to Mecca, and then they gave him a high name, right? And he can't tell anybody the name. He'll let you know later. This is what he said back then. The name that came out is Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, is the name, right? So that's his free name. That's his name that, is his, that's a name that is bonded to the Moorish nation.
Right.
And nobody can touch that name. Right? That's like just like if you ask entertainer athlete, give me your autograph, they're not giving you the check signing signature.
Mm-hmm.
But they're giving you the fraud. Because why would they be putting their signature that they put on checks on stuff that people could lift it off and use it on other stuff? Right? Because your signature has a lot to do with who you are. Right? So it's still strike for it. Um, Black people who have no interest in learning about the laws of life, the development of the race, and how our minds and bodies work are victims of this cycle. Those who believe that by nature the black African is inferior to any other race are casualties. Black people who identify more with Europeans than Africans are victims. Black people who perpetrate crimes on other black people are slaves to their enemies, and therefore are self-destructive, and that makes them victims of this psych war. Black people who have given up hope in their own race and family are victims. A victim of the psych war, therefore, has been mentally manipulated into working against the natural laws of survival for self and group. Just a little thought on the subject will let you know that working together increases our chances of survival and happiness. We have failed to properly control ourselves culturally, economically, and educationally. We suffer more because something is preventing us from doing that which comes naturally to people in general and which will improve all black people's lives. We have failed to work together as other ethnic and racial groups have. What is the source of such a mentality? In this psych war, two of the most effective bullets used against black Africans born in America are: one, that we are descendants of a people who used to be slaves to white people, and two, that our ancestors lived like stupid animals in the jungles of Africa before the white man came. These negative beliefs have strong influence on our understanding of ourselves and our existence. How can a people who are not worthy produce offspring who are worthy? How can devils produce saints? If we believe that our ancestors were slaves and savages, we will act accordingly. In addition, we would be reacting to something that is not true. This is a double negative. And it's double negative that we put on ourselves. It's not a double negative because of what some other people are doing. Because those people are doing what they're gonna do. Those people are doing what they've been doing.
They're doing what comes natural.
Right.
Yeah, all because we enable it.
Yeah. Right. Because we don't want to recognize that there's something different about us than other people on the planet. There must be something wrong why our people can't get to
That level.
that level of having everything that your community needs at your disposal only. Like, we shop at everybody's stuff. We should go to the Italian guy for some stuff. We go to the Chinese for some stuff. We go to the Filipino for some stuff. We go to the German for some stuff. We go to the Jew for some stuff. We go to everybody. We don't go to ourselves for anything. That's mind control. That's brainwashing.
I had a
That's
sense of,
sorcery.
I had a
health.
sense that maybe because we're more spiritual, we've been more easily sort of influenced by these sort of spiritual attacks.
Right.
I thought that I
The
had
the
sort of
psychic
silent
attack.
attacks.
Right.
For the most people, they don't even have that ability to
Right.
be influenced by that.
Right. Right.
That's why we've been hit so hard.
Right.
And then to add on to that, the fact that we are taking other influences, their gods and their so-called religion,
Yeah.
that has left us completely void. It's
Yeah.
now put us in their level.
Right.
And that's
Which
what
makes it easier now for them to,
But
because
but
they're
because-
also artificial people.
That's right. But they're a practice of it. They know about that. We don't live like that. So
Right.
we're in a sense living on a lower level.
Right. But everything that they know of a lower level is from our lower level.
That's right.
So we know. We just don't.
No, we're not meant to live like that.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's not our. That's not our birthright.
That's right. And
That's
that's
not
why.
our birthright.
That's why we're living the way we're living.
Right. So with King Alfred Plan and the Psych War, you can see that the target is the minority. That's what they're going after. They're not going after all citizens. They're specifically targeting this minority.
You know what's interesting? Why would they be targeting us? We're already down.
Yeah.
We're already down and out. Why are they bothering with this?
They explain it.
Yeah.
They tell you straight up.
No, but that's the point though. So really, we're not down and out, are we?
Exactly.
They know that anytime we actually wake up and become who we're supposed to be and know ourselves, then they're in trouble.
Yeah.
But they're so confident and arrogant that they can even put in there that we're too stupid to read this. We don't understand it anyway, and we're just, what do they call us? Fool? Or something like that?
Yeah.
In the thing. Yeah. So, they
Or
don't
a stake on the.
stake on the table.
He got it.
Ignorance is a fool's source.
Like cannon fodder.
Yeah.
That's right.
There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. Just like the sister said, like they know that we're dangerous. They know that, the wick is like burnt down and it's about to kick off. Right? They know that.
Well, I also sense that's because they need a large workforce. Right? So the very nature of them needing a lot of people to do all this work is what, when those people finally wake up, they got a real problem.
Right.
You got one man running 1,000.
Yeah.
Once those 1,000 wake up, that one man's done.
Exactly.
I'm not too sure if it's a larger workforce that they need, because if you remember, Prince Philip in England said that he wants to reduce the world population to 500,000
Yeah.
to a million.
Yeah.
So I think it's a numbers game. I think it's because the Caucasian population is not growing as fast as the minority population is growing. It's a matter of control.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're losing control over over the world.
Yeah.
As you can see, what's happening now with Asia, for example, is rising, and that's what's all this thing about Syria and Iran and it's all about, is to stop the Asian population from rising, while the Western economy is
it's plummeted.
plummeted.
Yeah.
It was inevitable. They could never stop it.
Right. And
They
again
don't care
too.
what they try.
Remember that
Something interesting, actually. There was I never saw the preview for it, but I went and saw this movie, Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
When
Yeah.
I look at that movie, all I see in it, from a different perspective, I see martial law when I look at that movie.
For real.
Right? And the thing that was interesting about that movie is, if you look at all the Nubians that were in it, it's like it wasn't in their nature. They weren't just coming to kill people. They were just trying to survive. Like,
For real.
I'm here in a circumstance I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
I just want to survive. I'm not here to kill anybody. And then when they had to, they
Need
would
be.
fight.
If need be.
If need be, they will. But one thing I found really interesting is when that young black girl was killed, and the girl buried her and gave her a proper burial. When she made a sign back home to the other, to her district,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was her father or whatever, but when they got fed up, they uprose, right?
Yeah.
And I think that movie is just showing you that they already know what our character is like.
Right.
When we're pushed beyond the limit,
Yeah.
we come together and we uprise. We just screw over everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So they already know what our reaction
What our
will
reaction
be.
is going to be.
And they're even showing you in the movies what our reaction would
Right.
be. Right? And
Yeah.
I think they're scared of that.
Yeah. Most
But
definitely.
at the same time, it's something they want to happen because they want a reason to put martial law in.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, with, because remember that they're specifically targeting the minority. They don't care about anybody else right now. The first people that they have to get rid of it is the minority.
And you're talking minority in a lawful
Right.
sense
Right.
as well.
Yeah, minority in the sense of blacks, Latinos, Indians, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites, but also people who are incompetent.
Well, because we're not the minority. When you put all
Yeah,
the people
if you
together,
put all the
we're
people,
way
yeah,
over the
we're the
majority.
majority.
So they're really talking
Right.
lawfully
Right.
what they consider the minority.
Right. What they're saying minority from a law perspective,
Exactly.
not from a numbers perspective. Right.
I do think it's a numbers game because if you take a lot of the policies focus on the black population,
Right.
for example, abortion, for example,
Yeah.
is basically to reduce the population of
Right.
the minority.
Right.
You know what? But I almost disagree with that because you look at the religious edicts and they're telling you, the Roman Catholics are telling you to have sex without condoms.
Yeah.
Right? So they're telling you to continue to propagate because
Yeah.
they want numbers.
But who are they talking to though?
They're talking to their people, but their plan is to have everyone one of them, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's ultimately
No,
what it
that's
is.
fine, because if they get us under their yoke, that's fine too, as
Yeah.
far as they're concerned.
Well, it
We're
is,
still
but-
not being ourselves
Yeah.
if we decide to go and follow the Pope.
But I think what the
You know.
issue is, I think we're changing eras. It's no longer sort of an industrial era. It's now technological era.
Exactly.
So you don't need the numbers
You
anymore.
don't, yeah, right. Not only don't you need the
That's
numbers,
right.
but
They
you don't
needed
need,
the numbers before,
But-
up until
Yeah.
maybe 20, 30 years ago, right?
Right. But not only needing the numbers, but they don't need niggers anymore because they become a broken down piece of machinery that you have to scrap because it's
Looking at them as being a
technological,
piece
like
of-
you're saying.
Looking at them being a piece of machinery that's not working anymore.
It's not working anymore. What are you gonna do? You have the Black and Decker, zzz, 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 and then you have the hand crank. Like, they're going for the Black and Decker.
On
Right.
top of it, they don't need anybody they can't control.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
all about control.
You know?
They don't want.
So they're about strict
they're scared of
extermination.
thinking mind.
So we're gonna outline. This is for those that because again, this targets a specific people, right? So we're not worried. Like those that read the code. For example, he will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. So this is a military document.
Because they know we don't belong anywhere else.
Right.
This is where
So this document that's targeting minorities is saying that the minorities are bound to the continent by heritage.
This is our land.
In essence, they have to get rid of us.
Right.
Because if we come into our own person, they're gone.
That's why we say the name of the last two classes is nationalize or die. Because they don't have any they don't have any good feelings toward the minority. Like they are about exterminating the minority. Period. Like just exterminate them because it's a limit. Why are we gonna keep it around for? Why are we gonna try to sell it? Nobody's not gonna buy these niggas. We could ask people around. People will be like, "Nah, we need we're into child slavery. We don't do those ones anymore." Maybe some Asian girls will buy it, but we're not buying those guys anymore. We're done with those guys because all those guys do is burn stuff down, and we don't want those ones. Send those ones somewhere else. Do something with them.
But you can't send them.
You can't send them.
They're
You can't
bound
deport
to
them
this continent.
because they're bound to the continent by heritage. So you build a jail and you just fill up the jail, and then you fill up the jail.
That still makes them money.
Exactly, right? And it's not really making them money. It's just
locking away
them
the
not
problems.
having to use their energy. They just use our energy, in mass numbers. Right? Because that's what it comes down to.
Well, also, you think about it, for every one of those people that's locked in jail, there's a broken family.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right?
Which
They're
is
killing a
part
whole
part
bunch
of the
of
plan.
birds
So
with
it
one
becomes a whole
stone.
exponential
Yeah,
thing.
right. Which is what King Alpha plan's about.
It's also the energy.
Silent weapons. Yeah, yeah. Right. To like even when you look at it like the even the money, right? The quarters is energy for the moon, right? And then the 4 quarters make the dollar, and then the dollar is the one, and then that's the sun, right? Like so, it's still energy that they're jacking, even with the money, right? So they can say, yeah, it's currency if it's governed off universal principles. That's the only way it becomes anything in this reality, right? But it depends on what brought it down. If a lower level being brought down, then it's only going to be looked at on that level, right? Which is a jurisdiction. So if we're superior, if we're multidimensional, we don't have to worry about the third dimensional.
If they've got us trapped in that bottom dimension,
right?
And they're running the show.
But are we really trapped?
No, well, by our own choice.
Right? Exactly. So that means it's not a trap.
No.
Like you put your foot in the trap and stepped on the thing and it closed down your foot.
Now I got to open that up and step out.
Yeah. You shouldn't have put your foot in there in the first place.
I agree, but my foot's there right now, right? I got to do something about it,
You know what I
right?
mean? Right? But that's the thing. Yeah, the foot's there, but
But it's more like a landmine, never a line of traffic.
No, I think it's more like a trap.
Landmine.
you know. So this is how the critical hours now break down if there's a race war, right? While the national population exceeds that of the minority by more than 10 times, we must realistically take into account the following. 1. An estimated 40 to 50% of the white population will not, for various reasons, engage the minority during an emergency. 2. American armed forces are spread around the world. A breakout of war abroad means fewer troops at home to handle the emergency. 3. Local law enforcement officials must contain the emergency until help arrives, though it may mean fighting a superior force. New York City, for example, has a 25,000-man police force, but there are about 1 million minority members in the city. We are confident that the minority could hold any city it took for only a few hours. The lack of weapons, facilities, logistics all put the minority at a final disadvantage. Since the Korean War, this department has shifted minority members of the armed forces to areas where combat is not likely to occur, with the aim of eliminating through combat as many combat-trained minority servicemen as possible. Today, the ratio of minority member combat deaths in Vietnam, where they are serving as advisors, is twice as high as the minority population ratio to the rest of America. Below is the timetable of King Alfred as tentatively suggested by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who recommend that the operation be made over a period of 8 hours. 1. Local police and minority leaders in action to head off the emergency. 2. Countdown to 8 hours begins at the moment the President determines the emergency to be A. National, B. Coordinated, or C. Of long duration. It's the 8th hour. 7th hour. County police join local police. 6th hour. State police join county and local forces. 5th hour. Federal marshals join state, county, and local forces. Fourth hour, National Guards, federalized, held in readiness. Regular armed forces alerted, take up positions. Minority troops divided and detained along with all white sympathizers under guard. So their own troops.
That's in the fourth hour.
The fourth hour. So at the fourth hour,
they take out
all the troops that are minorities
get taken away, and all the leaders
get taken away.
And the white sympathizers.
Right, and the white sympathizers, the Europeans who are in favor of the blacks. Right. All minority leaders, national and local, detained. Second hour. President addresses minority on radio television, gives it 1 hour to end the emergency. First hour. And at 0 hours, all units under regional commands into the emergency. 0 committee report. Survey shows that during a 6-hour period, production created 9 million objects, or 1,500,000 each year. Production could not dispose of the containers, which proved a bottleneck. However, that was almost 20 years ago. We suggest that vaporization techniques be employed to overcome the production problems inherent in King Alfred.
You're saying with the production plan of getting rid of the bodies?
Yeah, because they don't want Germany to happen again, where there's proof of denationalization or terminating denationalized people, or people who choose to
terminating who are really nationalized people who aren't in their proper person.
In their proper person, right? But they chose not to be in their proper person. Because Noble Drew Ali came 1913 to 1929. And since 1929, 1969, King Alfred Plan came, told them that you're Moors, that this is your land, you didn't come from Africa, but they don't want to listen to King Alfred Plan. Right? UN declarations came and said all children have right to a nationality. UN Declaration of Human Rights said all humans have right to a nationality. UN Declaration of Indigenous Rights said everybody has right to a nationality, but they don't want it still. They still don't want it. Right?
So they just keep trying to hand it to us.
Oh, and they just don't want it.
So they're saying at that point, if we just wanted to be dead.
Well, then we'll dead you.
They just want to be American?
Well, that American is us. Because American is the native people of the Americas that were here before, like before them. Yeah, that's the real definition of American.
So if someone doesn't call themselves or doesn't claim an indigenous status, what are they considered?
Dead.
Dead, non-existent?
Stateless, non-existent.
Civilly
dead.
Alien.
Foreigner.
This is America.
One and the same.
The greatest, right? Yeah, but this is so this is King Alfred Plan. The greatest concentration of the minority is in the Deep South, the Eastern Seaboard, the Great Lakes region, and the West Coast. So we're in it because this is the Great Lakes region. So they might not say Canada in there, but
I mean that goes back to what the makeup of Canada is about, right? Canada is a sort of a state registered body.
Right, okay, let's go to the King Alfred Plan. Main collection areas.
They
Right?
sound like garbage.
Right. American concentration camps for blacks, Latinos, and poor whites. So they have a jurisdiction of people who they're going after. Right?
These are the concentration camps, right?
Yeah. So the capital region, northeast region, southeast region, Great Lakes region, south central region, deep south region, deep south region 2, Great Plains and Mountain region, southwest region 2, Great Plains and Mountain region, southwest region, West Coast North region, West Coast, South region. This is what the map looks like. Right? So it's not like they don't know what they're dealing with, right? They know what they're up to, right? So we have to also always go back to the prophet and his prophecy. So with regard to nationality, right? Let all old business stay as is, and all new business do it in your free national name, right? So what was supposed to be happening from 1913, right, is that um, Negro, black, colored people would be met by people who are part of the nation, right? And because the nation is out there, not with us because we're the ones that know about it, right? The nation is actually the Negro, black, colored people that don't know that they're more, right? So what was supposed to happen is that you come into this, you get taught, and then your job is to go out there and go get people and bring them back, because that's what we have to do, right? When you go and you get them back, they will come to a meeting, just like something like this. They come to a meeting, secretary's going to be there, treasurer's going to be there, chairman's going to be there, etc. Right? At the end of the meeting, there's going to be a call. Anybody want to proclaim their nationality? And then whoever wants to proclaim their nationality, you proclaim your nationality. You get your nationality card, and welcome home and start getting involved.
You're saying that's how it should be.
That's how it should have ran. That's how it was supposed to run. That's probably how it ran up until they killed the prophet. And then after that, it started into, this is a group that you're becoming a member of, and you're joining. And then when you join, then we'll give you your nationality. It's in this card called the nationality card. And then it's in these papers called nationality papers. So now you're a Moor. Oh, what, you didn't pay your dues? Okay, well, we're going to revoke your membership, right? Because we gave it to you. So now we're going to revoke it, and don't ever come back here again.
You're saying
that's what it came to. Until people just, they would go there and receive the pushback. Coming there sincerely to really find out what's going on. But because Moors got all spooked up because of FBI infiltration and where everybody's an agent. You can't trust anybody. You gotta watch what's going on.
Which is probably somewhat so correct.
Not if you're dealing with, like we were talking about it. Not if you're dealing with what the prophet laid down. Because what the prophet laid down, nobody can come in and infiltrate anything.
Yeah.
Right? Because remember when we were talking about the jurisdiction, the Moorish Science Temple of America is the infiltration. The Moorish movement wasn't the infiltration. If we check all the records, it's Moorish Science Temple of America they talk about. Moorish Science Temple of America. Not Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Not Old Canaanland Temple.
You're saying that body that got put on top of it, or that jacket,
right,
is
what has the flames right now.
Right.
That who knows can take off the flaming jacket and put it on the side and let it burn. Right? Because there's an authentic jacket.
Yeah.
That's not burnable.
We all have that jacket on.
Exactly. It's not a jacket that you take off and put on. It's a skin. Skin jacket.
Or it's an organ.
Right? Or it's an organ, yeah. Right? It's part of you. It's not something that you go out and get.
It just needs to be activated.
Exactly. Well,
Wow.
and how is it going to be activated? With
Right.
nationality, and then
Which is
nationality,
really just your
and then one,
acknowledgement.
and if you have a national, then he goes out and gets somebody else, right?
That's that
And then
energy
he
thing we
goes
were
out and
talking
gets
about.
somebody else, and now you're bringing these clusters together.
That's right. And then it's
That's how
growing.
your energy, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's how your energy grows. Not just your energy as in your
I know.
aura,
I know.
but your finance energy is going to grow too.
What to tell me.
Yeah, right. But if people don't consider the profit, not even just for a second, then
We're done.
well, not really,
Well, not
because
done, but
we have. I
yeah.
mean, I have my birthright, right? Even if they if they come to take me to a concentration camp,
You still.
they're gonna kill me first.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna put me up in
That's what I wanted to ask is,
That was my next question.
is how would you being a war protect you from the King Alfred plan if it was implemented?
because it's geared to blacks, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Indians, poor whites, which we're not. Now, it's now Noble Ali said that this is a Moorish, divine, and national movement. So it's not only about a physical representation,
So
or
when they come to your door to take you away,
It wouldn't be coming to his door.
yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be
Right.
because there's a divine
the
body
deceiving
behind
powerful
this.
skin.
Right.
I mean,
Like okay, it's like um,
That's incredible. what you just
there's brothers that we know, right? That they have licenses and stuff, and when they get stopped, they don't show their stuff. They say, "I'm not showing it to you. It's more." Well, we know. Oh no, you can't tell me about anything because I know what the law is, and I know that you guys are practicing color of the law, and I know that you guys are trying to extort and trying to racketeer in order to pay your whatever you're paying. But I'm not down with that because I'm not a corporate person. I'm not an artificial person. I'm not a child of the crown. I'm not a ward of the state. I'm indigenous. Well, hold on a second. Go to their car or whatever, sit in their car for a little bit,
make some phone calls.
make a call or two, come back. Well, you're not supposed to be, here's a $10 ticket. Here's a $20 ticket because you're going 50 in a 10 zone, right? Or go to the wicket to go pay the ticket. Okay, well, here's my money. I want to pay. Okay, please sign here. Okay, all rights reserved. UCC 1-103, UCC 1-308. Sorry, signature. Oh, we can't accept that. What do you mean? Like I have the money right here to pay for the ticket. I have the yellow thing right here and the money here. No, we don't want it. You can't sign like that. You have to change your signature.
You know what that's about? That's because they're committing a fraud.
Oh, now you're
Oh.
talking. Exactly. If they were to accept it,
They're
that's
accepting it.
not.
Or they would have accepted it.
They can't
They
accept
know
it.
it.
They can't.
They can't.
You have to be part of that.
Right?
You have to be part of that, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to be part of it.
You have to be in agreement.
In agreement.
The fraud.
You have to be contracted.
To that fraud.
But if you reserve your rights on the contract,
They're done.
you protect yourself.
And because they're living by the contract.
And because the contract, to them, the contract makes the law.
That's right.
Even though there's a superior or a supreme body of law that they know that they're obligated to, they're going to go on the fact that, well, they taught us, so, I mean, they didn't teach us anything, so we don't know what the law is. And they'll just dangle civil rights or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, when you play with the, look at it. Yeah, and then you do the psych and you don't do it and it goes right. Right? Like it's a game that they're running.
But if I could just address what the brother was saying, how do you know that just by declaring your nationality it's going to be protection? We had the same question with one of our sisters yesterday. And it's just like I said to her, people want to win the lottery. You're either going to win or you're going to lose, but you're not going to win if you don't know It's that simple. We don't know we can't guarantee and say, come hell or high water, this is going to happen because it hasn't been tried yet. It should have been done 100 years ago and it wasn't. So, we have an opportunity to do it now, and it's up to us to either do it or not. But we're getting the knowledge, and if we're not interested in participating, then there's really nothing that any of us can do for anyone who's not interested. But at least if you say, well, look at it this way. We're looking at the King Alfred plan. They're targeting your blacks, your colors, your Negroes, your Puerto Ricans, and all the other people who delude to slavery. And before the prophet came to us and resurrected us from that mental slavery and told us about our heritage, everything else, and even since then, all the other movements have had to do with the same thing. Every single movement. You tell me one movement that actually tells us who we are and what our birthright is, and there aren't any. There's a whole lot of good organizations out there, Pan-Africanism, and this, that, and the other, but none of them have told us who we are. So I think this is an opportunity for us to really prove the validity of what the prophet brought to us.
And that everybody is waiting.
Yeah.
So don't forget, it's the United Nations that came together with the Declaration. Like all the nations coming together, all the nations, the family of nations, that body came together with these declarations saying everybody has a right to a nationality.
That's right. So we should have the nationality so we can go and conduct ourselves among the affairs of men, like everybody else in the United Nations.
Right.
But without that, we don't have a voice, we don't have a say, we don't have any rights for that matter.
Now we can get into the argument, it's the corporate nations that are in the UN, or is it organic nations, or are they republics, or are they, regardless of what they are, right? They recognize that there's something called nationality, and everybody from a child to an adult is entitled to it and can't be deprived of it. Nowhere in the world, because everybody signed on to those. So if they're saying, here's your birthright, and we don't want to take it, we want to be everything, you know what I mean? We're going to be, like you listed. You list all the names that we've called ourselves as far as trying to find our identity. And there's going to be this long list of names and names and names, pages and pages of names, and more is not on there. Like calling ourselves that isn't on there, on the list of names that we call ourselves. That's the only name missing off the list. And then that's the only thing that we're not like running to try. Like we should be running at this, like full speed ahead toward this. Because we tried everything else and nothing worked. And if we're honest with ourselves, we'll say, okay, we went to this school, this school, this school, this school, this school. This school, this school, this school, this school. Every single school I go to, they tell me I have ADHD and I have to take Ritalin shots. Okay, well maybe you should try homeschool now. Maybe those people aren't mad at you. Maybe those people aren't trying to diagnose your problem. Maybe they're trying to stunt your intelligence. Maybe you're too smart for them. That's why you have ADHD. Maybe you're bored. That's why you can't keep still in class. Because the teacher is supposed to be talking about calculus to you in grade 9, and they want to do 1 and 1 equals 2 and give you papers to do little quizzes and stuff like that. Maybe you're visual.
Auditorial.
Right? Or you know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Right? You had a question?
Is it true that this is the last year to claim indigenous status?
The question is it true that this is the last year to claim indigenous status? If you look at it from the perspective of end of the world 2012 and all that, yeah.
What about
But according to the UN, no, that's not. Yeah, there's no. They don't. Indigenous status isn't a market for somebody to say Well, you could claim it or you can't claim it, or you know what I
Because I
mean?
heard someone saying that and it didn't make sense to me because you can't
No.
take away someone's inherent right. You
Right,
can't
exactly.
say this is your last day to say you are who you are.
Right,
It doesn't make
exactly.
any sense.
But if you don't say who you really are, then they can take something from you. Because if you're saying that you're something that you're not, then you're committing fraud.
Fraud,
So they can now make a claim because you already made yours by committing fraud. So they have to make a claim now, either come at you or just use you as an economic base for themselves because they have something on you that you committed fraud, and they just hold that.
And then my next question is similar to his. Okay, like I understand what you were saying, but just because you're indigenous, okay, if martial law were to come into place, what what steps would you take? Like, what's our plan as a people? Like when I look at a lot of our people nowadays, like they're not conscious about their health. They can't run for a bus. We don't have any military, like.
Let me pose a question. Let's say you're from let's say you're from United States, right? And you go to Congo, and a war breaks out in Congo. You can't get on the plane. You can't go anywhere. Where's the first place you go?
People.
And how are you going to get to your people in the Congo if you're from the United States, quote unquote? Embassy. That's what the Moorish Science Temple is supposed to be. That's what that is. It's not a place where you go and pray and learn about the prophet and all that. It's supposed to be an embassy. So the same thing that you're talking about, because they're going to make an announcement that, yeah, we're under martial law. Did you hear that? You're supposed to go to the temple. Have a nationality card? Go to the temple. And that's your safe haven, because they don't have jurisdiction on that to come in and say, yeah, we want to see somebody in here.
Unless they want to be in their nature how they are, which
Right.
is
No, but what I mean, it comes down to international law too, right? Like everything applies now if they say martial law. Not just their little martial law idea applies. They have to be mindful of other people around the world watching them too. You know,
Talking
because
about United Nations as an example.
yeah, right. Because yeah, if they say martial law, it's only going to be in their jurisdiction, U.S jurisdiction, but U.S has many jurisdictions all over the world that are in other people's jurisdictions, right? So they're going to look at it as a threat if martial law goes down in United States between Mexico or above Mexico, right? If martial law happens, all those other places that have a U.S. embassy or whatever, they're going to be on like supreme high alert because now they could be put under now because they allowed these people who were pretending to be the Moors, but weren't really telling the people that it's not them. They were just using the eagle instead of using the pyramid to represent the government.
There's another point too.
Well, there was a comment about a question about.
I was just going to say, I do hear what you're saying, and I think there's always a possibility that you can be ambushed, right? You may not make it to the temple. People may overpower you. But if that happens, I mean, it's not just a physical war that we're fighting, it's spiritual too, right? So it's to stand by who you are as well. Even if it means you're going down, even if that's what it means, you're going down, right? You're not one of the people that makes it. That's just reality more. We know that they do it.
But that sort of helps to answer your first question about the deadline for proclaiming your nationality. The deadline is yesterday. Because this plan,
The deadline.
this plan is in force as we speak. Maybe we don't see people coming at us, in the army and doing the things that these people are talking about doing, but pardon me? Oh no, but I meant that
vigorously.
Okay, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm
But
like, I
honestly,
read about.
the sooner the better. And the prophet said, if you don't do anything else, proclaim your nationality. You don't have to do another thing, but that's all you have to do. And it is divine and it is spiritual. Um, it is enforced. I mean, we don't maybe have. Maybe it's not that much in our face type of thing that we can see that what's happening, but it's happening all around us all the time, and it happens very subtly, and it happens with the other piece of information that we're reading about this evening, the psych war. They're not coming at us with bombs. They're not coming at us. Well, they are sometimes with the guns and all that, but it's all the other things that they're doing. They've destroyed our families. They've destroyed our communities. They've destroyed our food. What else can they do?
To be honest with you, in my perspective, like I think everything that they're doing is blatant. It's just that people are not awake to see it.
Exactly, and if it's that blatant, why not declare? What do you have to lose by declaring your nationality? You know what I mean?
And if they're not awake to see it, like we can agree that okay, well they're not awake to see it, right? To see that this is happening to them, but their eyes are open and they're having a conversation with you. That's a zombie. Yeah, like so. You know what I mean? Are you really gonna, um, found a universal association to include the Negro when the Negro is a chimpanzee monkey, and if that is your intention, then you're a crazy person, and somebody might you know try to frame you, get rid of you because you're crazy. The same thing with King Alfred plan. All those things are King Alfred plan. Like when you talk about El Hajj getting killed, and Khalid Muhammad getting killed, and Malachi York in prison, and Wesley Snipes taxed off, and Michael Vick, all that's King Alfred plan, right? Just different degrees of it, because they're not going to just bust it all at one time.
But I think that's also in combination with the psychic war and the physical war that they're doing at all times, right?
That's right.
Right. So like this is and with regard to how important is the nationality, that like, could it expire or whatever, right? Remember, internationally, when you say nationality, people's concept goes into a mode. Like when you say nationality to somebody else, other than our people, like flags go up.
Yeah, flags, countries.
Yeah, like things, like all things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Headgear, religion, what do they wear? What do they talk? What language do they have? All these things start playing, right? Now, this is from
That to our people, they don't think of one specific place or
right.
one specific flag or what.
Exactly. It doesn't even equate to them, right? At a meeting where the Holy Prophet was present, he saw 10 Arabians, 5 Turks, 2 Chinese, and 1 Japanese join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay, so they know.
They know.
It's not like they don't know. They know. Because if they're going to go join, right? But why are they joining? Because the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Moorish movement, has a Moorish Holy Temple of Science, has a Rotarian complexion. It's a service association. So anybody can be a member. It's not, you know what I mean? That's why the nationality card says it's the nationality and identification card. It identifies those who already have a nationality, that they are a member of the first mosque in America, because the majority of them are Muslim, or Muslim, or whatever they call themselves, right? They have a right to be part of this, because they're Muslim. But to be a member, not to be nationalized, to be a member of this association, this organization, this temple. That's not for us, Negro, black, colored people. That's for foreigners. That's for people who are in these lands
of their nation,
of other nations, right? For us, for Negro, black, colored people, the Moorish movement is an embassy.
yeah, and it's our nationality.
Right. For other people out there, the Moorish movement is an association that they can join. Yeah, because they already have a nationality.
Exactly.
Not that they can't come and change their nationality, because the fact that they're in our land, we have that right to say, well, yeah, come into the family.
And that's the same way if you go over to Japan or something, you want to become
Exactly.
a Japanese national, you
Right.
go through that process.
Right. But you can't become a Japanese national.
No,
But you can get
become a
the
naturalized,
perks, a naturalized Japanese citizen.
right, citizen.
Exactly. Right? Just like over here.
Yeah.
Right? That we would be the actual people that would be giving out people's passports and stuff. That's how it's supposed to be.
It's your birthright.
Yeah.
That
Allows you to be
a
the national. But your birthright has to do with your name and what landmass and
all that kind of
your
stuff.
culture and your flag and your headwear and all that. Right? An elder Moore said he was walking down the street in Chicago, Illinois, and an Arabian came out of a store and asked him to come into the store. He went with him. The Arabian pointed to a picture of Noble Drew Ali and asked him, "Do you know who this is?" The elder Moore stated, "That's my prophet." The Holy Prophet said, "All right, son." The store was full of Arabians, and the elder Moore said that all of them had identification cards for membership in the Moorish Science Temple of America. All of them had identification cards, not nationality cards, because they're Arabians. They have a nationality already. They naturalized to be U.S. citizens. To come here knowing that we are the real heirs to the Moroccan Empire. But they decided to come and get
They're smarter than us.
get some. Yeah. Right? They decided to get some. Because don't forget, when you talk to the Filipinos and the Chinese, and they'll tell you about the dark-skinned people from their side that are their foreparents. And then when you go to India, they're going to tell you about the Mauryan dynasty, about people who look like us, that were Hindus.
No matter where you go, they're going to come right back to us.
Right? You're going to go to Europe, they're going to show you all the coat of arms with us on it. So it's not a secret to the world about who the true inheritors are and how they divvied out the portions. Right? Because only the heir could really do anything. Right?
I watch a lot of Serie A, a lot of Italian football. And
Yeah.
you see in the stands a lot of people with their Moorhead big flags,
Yeah.
waving their big ass
Yeah.
Moorhead flags,
Yeah.
and in the stands. Oh yeah, oh they know who we are.
One of Drew Ali's divine ministers told of a time when he set up a meeting of Christian preachers to counsel with the Holy Prophet to see whether these preachers would follow the Holy Prophet. Right? So, imagine this now. You have a Christian preacher, then you have a brother in a fez coming to the Christian preacher to tell the Christian preacher that, like, I'm the prophet. Not that European that you have there, that you're trying to force the people. Like, I came back to save you. No. You're a false god. No way the Lord sent you. We can't believe this. You could hear them. And you can hear them. How they would like terrorize this character. And he's really the prophet for real. Right? The preachers and pastors were assembled, and the divine minister was addressing them before the holy prophet came to the meeting. One of the preachers said, "If he could do what Moses could, I would follow him." The prophet was not present in the room when this statement was made, and the meeting place was on the third floor of the building that they were in. When the prophet arrived at the meeting, he told the preacher, "I can do what Moses did, but if I came walking into the meeting with a lion on a chain, you would jump out of the window and kill yourself." Asiatic preachers and masons will be the last to come home. They will fight me tooth and claw.
Asiatic what?
Asiatic preachers and masons will be the last to come home. They will fight me tooth and claw but cannot win. The MSTA membership is going to dwindle down to a handful, but keep the doors open, and I will drive the Asiatics in. When I drive the Asiatics in, it's going to take 10 secretaries just to write down the names. Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about yesterday, that we're hard-headed, stiff-necked people that only learn at the point of a sword. And if the sword's not honest, then we're not going to learn. Which, it's unfortunate. Right? Paul said, "A beggar nation cannot attain to its highest degree of spirituality." What are all these people doing? Begging for them to arrest this youth man's killer. Who's gone into hiding? That nobody can find. Zimmerman. Right? Like, begging. Somebody arrest this guy. He killed an innocent black boy. And nobody's doing anything. No top officials or nothing. Right? Yeah. Even the UN came out. The UN came out and said, "Yo, this is mad." Right? Because they said, yep, once they're out, already. Once you see certain people,
the high-ranking Masons that are out
yeah,
there playing the game.
Because then they can put their plan in place.
Right.
But some of us are so dead that we don't even realize what's going on, that we're not rising up.
No, but that's the thing. So
they probably thought this would do it. This, like they do a number of different things.
Right.
It will make us rise up. We'll be so distracted watching things will rise up.
Yeah,
it's
but
not happening.
But remember that the LA riots, right? The LA riots was like the trial, the last trial that they did of, okay, let's do something and see what happens and see if it's gonna cause that happened, but they almost burned down the whole city too.
Yeah.
Which can't, what I mean? Like, they can't lose anything that's theirs. You know what I mean? They don't want to lose. They just want to exterminate the minority. They don't want.
Saying that backfired a bit on them.
They backfired, yeah. Their plan backfired. So, it's still a methodology that they're going to use because we never figured out the game and the black-white game, right? Even man came out and said, "Yo, can't we just all get along?" You know what I mean? Swollen face and everything. Right?
Let's just have peace, right?
Let's just have peace. Like, come on, yo. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Took his shades off, everything.
Right? It's incredible because he knew.
Yo.
He was on.
He was on. But nah, you want revenge. When the guy who got beat up is saying, "Yo, chill. Don't worry about it." know what I mean? Like, I'll take the beating for my people so we can have some unity. No, that nigga's crazy. Man, let's go get those crackers, man. Right? But by that time, everything's, you got people's stores burning down.
But do you think also that maybe is in a sense, like I've had these thoughts that he's trying to tell you to do that, but they know what their natural reaction is going to be, right? Which is for them to attack. So in a sense, we're playing into that game, right? Even though in a sense maybe it's backfired on them, we're still reacting how they want us to react. Which is really not good.
Yeah, which is sorcery.
Right.
Mind control and brainwashing.
Right. Because rather than nationalizing at that point, they're acting like a set.
That's all. Like simple. All you have to do is just declare your nationality.
A set of animals is what we're acting.
Yeah.
And that's and then that gives them credit. That gives them
validity. To do what they're doing. Right. Because we're acting like animals. Yeah. They're not making us act like animals. Like we're acting like animals. So we get what an animal deserves. You know what I mean? Some say collar, some say noose. Right. Nothing personal, but that's what it's going to be.
So in a sense, to bring us to our lower self yet again.
Right.
Yeah, but that's our choice.
Exactly.
We
can't be brought.
Like we were saying the other day, we're never proactive. We're never thinking ahead. We're never thinking to see what's
those guys are thinking
happen.
50 years ahead. Everything they do.
Thank you. So that was what, 1969? And it was talking about how even started back in 1948 when they started planning this thing.
Right.
And they knew exactly where we were going to be today and where they should be on this board that they got us on. So it's all.
Ronald Reagan updated the planning.
Oh yeah. 84.
For what?
Yeah. Because they're gonna make it
current.
Current, yeah. You know what I mean? Okay. Do you have a question also?
Yeah. Well, comment.
Okay.
I was gonna say that in terms of us retaliating, it doesn't always have to be with I'm just kind of adding on to what you said. It doesn't have to be with physical force. Like obviously, if you want to hurt them, you hurt them where it really hurts, which is their pocket.
Yeah.
Right? And you start using your rights, you start using the laws. If we could learn those things,
yeah.
then those are the ways to kind of fight back against it.
Yeah, and guess what? That's what the temple was for.
Yeah.
But these guys dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Well,
not like we put a lien on.
Yeah.
You become a national. You become a national, then if they basically commit tort on a national, they're in trouble, straight up.
Yeah.
But they could do it to you because you're calling yourself a nigger, black, or whatever. You know what I mean? Outside of yourself, who you really are. Of course, they could do that all day long. And that's what's been going on. And they love it when you go out there and picket and say that, you know what I mean? Black rights and shit.
They're not scared of anybody picketing and
especially when you say black rights, of course. Well, who would be scared of that?
Yeah.
That's also allowing them to figure out
who's who. Yeah. Yeah.
Nationality the same as sovereign?
Sorry, one sec. We'll answer that one.
Nationals are
sovereigns. Yeah.
Yo, hold on. We have a question. Yes, brother.
Now, from your understanding, what is the cracker psychology to the trust? Because there's a big cracker psychology going on about this trust. We want to know that, but you got it? There is a cracker psychology to the trust. I feel that there's a reason to follow that situation. Could you address that?
Well,
because that's fast.
What basically, because we become corporate.
Yes.
Right. Because we become corporate people, we can't hold anything. We can't have property.
Okay.
Right. Or because we're a slave, we can't own property. So through us having their name, it's how they create the trust to get the property and stuff in their name so they can claim it later after we're gone. right? But they can't do that in the Americas because this is like because they're European. So if they're gonna create trust or anything of that nature, it has to be in Europe that they do it. They can't do it over here.
Is this around the word of that's cheating?
That's cheating. Yeah,
Is that
right.
the same thing that you're
Right.
talking
That's
about?
cheating,
That,
yeah.
that they can't
Right.
do it here because it's our land.
Yeah,
They can
right.
do it somewhere
But
else
they-
as long as we've abdicated that.
So their hands are tied
Right.
in this geography.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
That's a good thing to know.
You know, it's, but fraud has no statute of limitation.
Indeed.
So if we don't say, hey, I know what you're doing, then they'll just continue doing what they're doing, which is what they've been doing, because we never said,
Hey,
I proclaim my nationality.
A whole lot of cracker psychology going on.
Right,
It's like
yeah,
doctrine.
for sure,
You must be
Right.
aware of that.
right, for sure, right? But it's not going on to torment us. It's going on because that's for their survival.
That's right. That's
They're
right. To protect their own
they're
self.
going to exercise how they're supposed to exercise,
Yeah.
right? Based on what they have, based on what they're given, based on what they know, based on what how they stimulate the ether,
It's psychology. That's
Right.
basically what
Yeah.
it is.
right? And that's what it was coming down to in the beginning. That once you have the mind, then you have the body. You know, once you get into somebody's psyche, you know,
we're done.
if I be thinking that, yeah, well, you know, you can't dribble with any of your hands, like I'm stealing the ball every time.
Mine will fall.
Every time.
Yeah.
Right? You know, if we're supposed to be, you know, it's like intimidation tactics, like when we used to play ball back in the day, right? There's certain teams that you play against that in warm-ups they're getting technicals because they're dunking and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to get the other guys like, oh, these guys are doing windmills and
Yeah.
reverse dunks and
Yeah.
tomahawk dunks and
Yeah.
you know, and getting technicals, and their coaches and getting mad.
Yeah.
Oh, we're done for.
Yeah.
Okay, you're done. Game's over. You know,
Before it started.
the dunk fest, right? Just because you got the mind. You know, that's like with the drumming. You know, and the Zulus beating the drum when they're going to war,
Yeah, you
and
know they're coming,
You
yeah.
know they're coming. 3 days
Start
away or
running,
whatever.
right? Yeah,
You know, it's like okay. What do you
time
mean?
to
They're
run.
3 days away. We're hearing the drums. Like how many guys are coming with me? You know, what's going on, right? So, it's the important thing is to, if you're Negro, black, colored, think that you're that you know, take into consideration that we've never heard about Noble Drawley before, and you know who is this, and look into what he presented to the nation, not just to the Moors only. You know, because we don't own him, even though he's our prophet.
Yeah.
Like we don't own him, right? He didn't just come for us only
To
and
share him.
let everybody else, you know, die. You know, like yeah, they need to know that yeah, you can proclaim your nationality too, wherever you're at. You know, if you're a Moor in Germany, yeah, you better proclaim your Moorish German nationality. You know, and start exercising like Saint Maurice again. You know, if you're in India, if you're in Europe, you know, proclaim your nationality because I know King Alfred's plan is global.
Especially in the European.
Yeah, like it has to be global because there's minorities in all those places, so-called minorities.
Again, I think that from the School of Higher Learning, which I am attending, I don't think that cracker psychology should be taken seriously. It's a ploy. This is psychology. What it is what we need to do now.
Mm.
That's what we have in front of us.
Yeah.
Reaching as many people as we can in the advertisement,
Right.
in advertising.
Right.
That is the key right there.
Yeah. But then again, you know, like because remember we were talking about in the psych war, you know, the biggest part of the psychological attack is to get the person under attack to fight against themselves,
To fight back.
right?
Yeah.
So when we say, okay, well, nationality is the order of the day, we got 2,000 newspapers, you know what I mean, with it written in there, nationalities are there, proclaim your nationality, here's where you could go, here's the person you could talk to if you want to get whatever, and then we're giving it for free, and people are like, well, no, not really, I don't want it, or whatever, then,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
you know, right?
Yeah.
We, our presenting this shouldn't just be to anybody. It has to be to
You know, it's interesting.
more so the young and unborn.
What's interesting too, though, something that's worth nothing, most people don't want. Something that's worth $1 million, people want.
Yeah.
Right? So the value of trying to give something away that's
Right.
theirs, people will say no.
People say no.
You say it's worth $1 million, all of a sudden everyone gets dollars, notes.
Right.
Everyone all of a sudden wants it.
Yep.
That's where they've got us too.
Conditioning, brainwashing.
Too good to be true.
That's right.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Like, bring me your gold, I'll give you money.
And all of a sudden everyone's
And
running.
everybody's running. Everybody's finding. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
got your credit.
Couldn't
find
all
any
of a
of
sudden,
this
like we had nothing. You're broke, and then this guy comes out with a commercial.
Because you
and
know
now,
what I was thinking about? 'Cause I thought
now
of these
you-
commercials being part of this whole thing, eh? 'Cause you see
Yeah.
how they were looking for this gold up about 3-4 years ago?
Getting the
Madness,
gold out of
women
circulation.
dancing,
Yeah.
bring your granny's gold.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that? Bring your granny's gold.
Yeah.
Right? We got money for you, and you notice the people who were offering the gold,
Yeah,
the money
yeah,
too,
yeah.
was a lot of these Europeans, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And who's running with the gold?
Right. You know, who's the
That
one
was that was all an
who's the one
attempt.
that Yashra was kicking out with the money changer?
So that was all part of that too, I think, right? Wasn't that?
Say that again?
This was during the Depression time.
Right. Exact
They
same
took
thing.
all the gold off the street,
Right.
and then the money became legal tender. It
Yeah.
wasn't worth its weight in gold anymore. They took all the
Right.
gold.
Yeah, 33.
And then they got rid of that standard, didn't they?
Right.
Isn't that what they did? They took
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I don't
The-
understand that.
The money is just paper.
Yeah.
It only has a value.
Exactly, not backed by anything.
Yeah. Because that was the value. The value was the gold.
Yeah, but I'm saying something. I heard about something, the gold and silver standard being taken off. I
Yeah,
don't know
that
what
was
I don't know what that meant.
that's the taking the gold out of
Oh,
circulation.
that's taking the value of it
Yeah.
away. So
Take
all of
away
a
the
s-
value. So
Right.
now you just have the paper
and then they can affix whatever value they
wherever
want
they
to
want
present.
to it.
And that's where they can then manipulate everything.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Because now it's under their jurisdiction.
And because you have nothing, no platform to value it to, then it can be manipulated.
Right.
Because if
Because
that,
there's
if
no-
that bill
Yeah.
or that note
Yeah.
represented one coin,
Yeah.
then that would be something.
Yeah, it's just
Now all of
wrong.
a sudden,
Now it's
that,
just
that note has
not-
has nothing to
Yeah.
connect to it.
But it,
Yeah, it's
no,
just a
but now it
problem,
has
brother. It's a
the
problem.
people.
Huh?
It has
Yeah.
the people now
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
to
that's right.
connect to it.
Well,
The people are now the source,
The currency.
the currency.
that's right.
The people are now
Human
the
commodity.
the commodity.
But, but
That
what I'm
gives
saying
it-
is it takes the value right out of that.
Right. Right. Yeah, because if I have myself,
Then I don't need that.
I don't need the money. Why not just
Go and do what
but then you can't really trade yourself
but
like
we,
like
but,
that. But
But we could in that sense
in
of
that
saying,
sense,
if I
yeah,
go
you
chop
can.
you some wood for you and
Right.
you go cook some food
Exactly.
for me, that's the same
exactly
thing
right. But that's really gonna happen only when
when we wake up.
we start as a community
That's right.
of Moorish nationals,
That's
right?
right.
That we have
Almost like a village.
50,000 foot whatever,
Yeah.
right? And then it's sectioned off, and then
Your villages and everyone's doing their thing.
everybody, then we got a farm in the back, and we got
Once
horses, and
that
we
happens,
have
There be
The
no
value-
others keeper.
right.
that value's done. They're done at that point, right?
But then what do we need them for?
Well, we've been the basis of their whole energy system.
Exactly, right? So at that point,
We're done.
what are they gonna do? Because they can't stay here, because now we're making claims on everything now.
That's right.
Because everybody's national now.
That's right.
So everybody's saying, you know what? I don't think I'm paying my mortgage this month.
And all of that stuff is just
Because that's
because-
fraud.
That's fraud.
Oh yeah, you guys need to show me the title before I pay you guys anything
That's right.
ever again. Where's the title?
As well as
Business property.
traveling on the land,
All that stuff.
all of that. Gone.
Yeah, like
in
that's
a moment, in a heartbeat.
in a heartbeat.
And then because they've had nothing to begin with, they don't have anything to fall back on.
Exactly. Because remember, they can't go back to Europe because the Moors over there started using their coat of arms again,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they reclaimed that, the
That stuff,
Danes
yeah.
and kicked the snakes out of
Yeah.
Yeah. Snakes
Wow.
came back, right? And took back over because they claimed their nationality. It's that simple. And everybody else is game for it. Everybody else is game. That's the key to topple the beast system. Nationalize. And then they can't put all these things on you.
We've got this massive psychic war going on, which we have fallen prey to, and our children have fallen prey to, and our grandmothers have fallen prey to.
Yeah. But it's an easy spell to break. Nationalize.
That's right.
That's the spell breaker.
Yeah.
That's the spell breaker. That's the, magic wand on your forehead, and then the dust, and
it's all done.
And the illusion starts tearing away like that. The wall's peeling, and you know what I mean. That's what that is really.
How does it work in countries that are not under the Commonwealth of Kings?
Say that again.
How does it work in countries that are not under the Commonwealth of the Kings? Are they more
Countries that are not, okay, countries that are not under the Commonwealth are
of the Queen? Are
they would,
more of an advantage?
but kind of, because they're free, but majority of them still had some contract with some other nation, French or Portuguese or somebody, right? So it might not be like royal proclamations or whatever that have them in slavery. It might just be leader,
Little governing body.
little governing body getting thrown in to be the head that's bought. So he's bought, so he's not doing anything for the people, and he just starved them out. And then next year they're gonna say, well, that guy wasn't, just like Tal was saying in the thing. We voted for that guy last year. Okay, well, he didn't work out, so let's go vote for this guy this year. Then they're gonna go vote for that him, and then, well, he doesn't work out. Okay, well, let's just go vote for that guy instead of governing themselves. And how about handling your own affairs and stop getting people to Islam, bro?
I was just curious because I was looking at things like Haiti and earthquake and everything, things that happened there. And
Yeah.
They're not under the Commonwealth, but yet they're going through so much trouble.
Yeah.
And America's coming under pretense of we're helping you guys.
Right,
but
right.
Have you seen anything really happen yet with all that money?
Well, even on that level, because Haiti's a Moorish republic, right? Haiti is
very first.
became independent, right? Why did they do that? Because they came from Africa? No, because that's their land. They're indigenous,
Right.
right?
It goes further than that, because we understood the IMF, which is the International Money Fund.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with that, because what they do is they try and go and destabilize these countries and take them over economically.
Right.
And this is a natural event that's happened that has put them in a place,
Yeah.
right? And really, what the answer to it is not to take any of that money, because that money's
For
Not
Sweden,
anything.
they had to pay back France
Yes.
for
Completely.
all the services that they lost.
Three wars.
While enslaving the Haitians.
Yeah.
But Haiti did pay back the money that was, imposed upon them.
Yeah.
And that's where the IMF came in, because now you have no way to enslave or to keep the Haitian down, because what you claimed that we owed, we gave it to you already.
Right. Right.
So now the IMF came and said, okay, we'll give you this more money to help your,
Yeah, but what they don't tell you about is what the concessions for taking that money. They then, what happens is they do all this stuff where they get them involved in their trade.
Yeah.
And they start taking away the stuff that they owe. And they stop shutting.
player. So they sold their soul. That was it.
So let's have one conversation. Yeah.
To read the trust.
Right. So.
Because I heard the other day that Portia was talking about coming out of the Commonwealth of the Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's a big step.
That's
You know.
her. She made that in her inauguration speech.
Yeah.
She said that she wanted to Jamaica to be a republic,
Yeah.
not under the Commonwealth. She wanted to
She
go to
realized
the Queen.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Now
You
she's
know, but
receiving a lot of, a lot of trouble because of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now she's
Because she
like,
said
Well,
the
that's what
yeah.
happened to Gaddafi, right?
She
That's
said the
why
magic word.
That's why they killed him.
Republic.
Because he was telling the African countries not to borrow money from the IMF.
Right. You know, and why should they? Look all the resources you have. You can't trade some stuff to pay off whatever debt you have. All this stuff that you have, this
Belongs
big
to you.
continent, you know what I mean? You're gonna pay back in fiat dollars,
Vast estate.
right? You know?
There's a lot, for example, when they talk about a lot about forgiving the debts of I say of developing nations.
Yeah.
That's another way that they use to I say enslave you,
Yeah,
because what
exactly.
happens is they forgive the debt,
Yeah.
okay, and then the same amount of money that you supposedly had owed, okay, they say that they will decide how you spend that money,
Yeah.
okay, to develop your economy.
That's right.
Basically, what happens is that those countries are not allowed to produce anything
For
for themselves.
themselves
They get
anymore,
everything from
outside, yeah, they have to
Yeah.
import.
Yeah.
They have to
And what
import
happens-
everything and can't export.
And then all of your natural resources go to pot because you haven't been developing that. And you're
Right.
buying the milk from America versus from your own cows,
Exactly.
and then it shuts your market down.
Right.
And then once that happens, you're then dependent on them.
Yeah.
Right?
You
They
can't
did
buy
they
your
did
own
that to
stuff.
they did that to Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know about that,
Yeah.
right? I saw a whole video on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And again, they're not. It's not like they're not doing these things because they're evil people and they're trying to take over. They're doing these things because we're not standing up. We're not making our claim, so they're claiming everything and leaving us out of it. Because even if I give you something, it's going to be mine anyways because your name is a fraud. Your name is my name. So what could I really give you? You know, if your name's my name.
Another psychology. You see, it's all a series of psychological behaviors and actions going on to distract from the real issue.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Now look at this. You can't take it with you. What does that mean? We're talking about money, aren't we?
Yeah.
When we
Right.
say you can't take it with you.
Right.
So don't get distracted by this monetary cracker psychology,
Mhm.
because that's what they push to get people excited about money.
Right, right.
But that's not important. It is our minds,
Yeah.
how we deal with situations now, as we have to go forward. Because there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work. So why do you get distracted by this cracker psychology of money? You're not working
Yeah.
of what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. You're distracted.
This must be an awareness.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep on the track, but be aware that cracker psychology is going to get much more and much more done. All the time.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Indeed.
What they say is that as you get more aware, you're going to get more attracted more and
Yes,
more of
indeed.
this stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not really attractive. It's
No, I know.
just to test you to see are you
Well, it's
really
just gonna get-
serious
Or you can
on
get
what you
distracted.
say.
This is
or-
where I talk about the spirituality. It's,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
negative.
Divine and national.
Not minding your own business, which calls for some kind of meditation
Yeah.
and some serious thinking.
Yeah.
That's
Well, some serious work.
That's right.
Big time
That's
work. Big time work.
Yeah.
Um, that's what- is there any questions or anything like that? Everybody's clear?
The trust can be downloaded online. That's an important document to read.
Yeah, the handbook.
The trust, the actual, this document here that I have, I would like you to have a look at, that I downloaded online. And I think that's an important issue to be aware of, to know, because knowledge is so powerful.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Right, yeah. So this is just this is the
Many more pages.
claim, yeah, the claim that Noble Drawley made about us having a vast estate and
Have you
that
read that before?
yeah, we read it before,
Yes,
right?
yeah, that's online.
And that the land of the Moors was put in a trust,
Yeah.
right, by the Prophet. Right? So he's the truster,
Yes.
and then there was a middleman,
Benefactor.
trustee,
Oh, trustee.
and then we're the beneficiaries of the trust that was created.
Indeed. Going to court.
Yeah.
And this is
What was
what
that?
that.
Frank Lewis Bay.
That's right. He's
Yeah.
And this has to
That was
do
the name
with
of, but it's not really like that really because it the trustee is just a middleman. Like it's really, the middle. We don't need the preacher between us and God.
We can go directly to God.
Right. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali came directly to us already. Right? Like in the Circle 7, talking about, Egypt, the capital dominion, the dominion of the Moors, and talking about him having sovereign power and giving us charters and doing these things that sovereigns do. Right? He gave us what we needed in doses that we would be, we lead up to realizing that, okay, well, somebody can't be a trustee if the beneficiaries are, because,
Because of the word trust.
right,
Because you cannot trust.
Because if you don't trust, you don't have access to the trust.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? If you don't see Noble Drew Ali as the prophet,
Which is the agreement.
Which is the agreement, then you don't have access. This is why, the dirty Moors don't have access. And they could copyright Circle 7s and they could do all this stuff all they want, but you're only looking stupid because you obviously don't know what's going on if you're trying to do certain stuff. Right? That's why we do the thing of, it's not about the card and all that. It's not, yeah, card's good, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's not really about the card. It's about, are you a national or are you a slave still? Mentally.
It's not about the shoes, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not about your shoes. Like, do you have game? Like, can you shoot? Or the shoe's gonna do it for you.
The shoes aren't gonna do it for you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. So that looks like it. We're just finished with the reading of The Voice of the Prophet, Friday, September 18th, 1929. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become part of this divine movement. Then you will have power to redeem your race because you will know who you are and your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you to think that your condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what is meant when said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you," by the prophet. Islam. If you have no questions, we'll just rise and close out. Give thanks for everybody online. Give thanks for everybody in attendance, and we'll continue 2 weeks from today. So 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide.
And
our salvation. By night and day. Through our holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Ashe. Yes, good one. Islam.